children, welcome to Guru Gedara English lesson. So, Dhammika sir and I are here to do the lesson what we started previously. So, here we are ready to do reported speech part 2. Dhammika sir?
Yes, children. In the previous lesson, I introduced you what reported speech is. Reported speech means the sentence pattern that we use in order to report the things told by the others. When you go to school, your teacher says various things, your friends say various things. So, when you go home, you have to report some of these things to your parents. So, what is reported speech? The way we report things told by the other people. There you have to pay attention to various grammar rules, and we are going to discuss. Now, we have already discussed 4 grammar rules involved in reported speech, and in this lesson we are going to discuss the rest of the grammar lessons that we have to follow in reported speech. Reported speech is also called as indirect speech. Look at this example. The boy said, "I am reading a book." When you convert it into indirect speech, you can say the boy said that he was reading a book. My dear children, we pay attention to the sentences in which the reporting clause, the boy said, that is the reporting clause. We pay attention to the sentences in which the reporting clause is in past tense. The reported speech can be easily identified. Indirect speech can be identified because that is written within the direct speech can be easily identified because that is written within inverted commas, and the subject has to be changed. When you convert a direct speech sentence into indirect speech, the subject has to be changed, right. Let us have a look at some examples and the next set of rules, right. Rule number 5, the present perfect tense in direct speech should be converted into past perfect tense. Look at this example. The boy said, "I have finished my work." I have finished my work, right. Look at the reporting clause, it is in past tense. I have finished. Have finished, it is in present perfect tense. So, when you convert it into indirect speech, I should be changed into he, and have finished should be changed into had finished, and you can make the answer.
The boy said that he had finished his work.
Children, please note, I should be changed into he, have finished should be changed into had finished, my work should be changed into his work. That is how you can convert present perfect tense sentence into indirect speech. Look at another example. The doctor said, "I have treated the patients today." When you convert this sentence, you have to pay attention to I have treated and today. I should be changed into he, and have treated should be changed into had treated. Today should be changed into that day.
The doctor said that he had treated the patient that day.
Okay. The lady said, "I have been to England twice this year." I should be changed into she. Have been should be changed into had been, and this year should be changed into that year.
The lady said that she had been to England twice that year.
Okay, right. Rules involved in direct speech into indirect speech. That means the next rule. The present perfect continuous tense in direct speech changes into past perfect continuous tense. The present perfect continuous tense, I have been reading, that is present perfect continuous. So, in past perfect continuous you have to include had, been and present participle. So, in this sentence you note that the boy said, the reporting clause is in past tense. Then look at the word I, it should be changed into he. Have been reading should be changed into had been reading. You may be wondering why I have used that. The word that is used in order to combine these two sentences together.
The boy said that he had been reading a novel all day.
Okay. Let's look at another example. My brother said, the kittens have been running around the house all day. So, my brother said, the kittens have been running. Have been running is in present perfect continuous form. It should be converted into had been running.
My brother said that the kittens had been running around the house all day.
Okay, children, hope that you have understood this one. Then the next, the past continuous tense. How do you convert a sentence that is in the past continuous tense into indirect speech? It has to be converted into past perfect continuous tense. It should be converted into past perfect continuous. The boy said, I was doing my homework. Past continuous tense. You have to use that in order to combine these two sentences together, and then I should be changed into he, was doing should be changed into had been doing.
My also should be changed into his.
Okay.
The boy said that he had been doing his homework.
Okay, children. Note that I is changed into he, was doing, had been doing, my, his. And let's have a look at another example. The teacher said, I was waiting for the train. I was waiting for the train. So, the word I should be changed into either he or she. Was waiting should be changed into had been waiting.
The teacher said that she had been waiting for the train.
Okay. The lady said, I was looking for you last week. I was looking for you last week. Here, the word I should be changed into she because the lady is a feminine character. Was looking, past continuous, should be changed into past perfect continuous tense. Was looking, had been looking. Last week, you should be changed into me, and the word phrase last week, it should be converted into the previous week. Lot of changes, lot of conversions, my dear children. I into she, was looking, had been looking, you into me, last week into the previous week.
I think all the changes are here. The lady said that she had been looking for me the previous week.
Okay. Hope that our children can understand these explanations because they have learned this lesson in grade 9, in grade 10 as well. So, we are doing it little faster. The next rule, the past perfect tense and the past perfect continuous tense. Right. So, when you have a sentence in past perfect tense and the past perfect continuous tense, of course, you don't want to change the tense. Right. Look at this example. She said, I hadn't traveled by underground before I came to China. Right. I hadn't traveled underground, past perfect tense. How do you convert it?
She said that she hadn't traveled by underground before she came to China.
Okay, children, now look here in this example, I should be changed, right? But remember, the verb should not be changed because the tense is not changed. Next example, they said, we had been traveling a lot. How do you convert?
They said that they had been traveling a lot.
My dear children, now we have discussed some of the most important rules involved in reported speech. We are going to move to an activity, but remember there are more important rules to come. So, look at this activity, activity 6, page 40. If you have your textbooks, please take them out. Turn to page 40. Look at the first one. The invitee said, it's a pleasure to be here. How do you convert it into the reported speech? Remember, the verb should be changed and the word here should be changed.
The invitee said that it was a pleasure to be there.
Second one, the interviewer asked, should we stop using polythene?
The interviewer asks whether we should stop using polythene.
Okay. The scientist said, I'm conducting a research on global warming.
The scientist said that he was conducting a research on global warming.
Number 4. Mr. Soiza said, I visited Singharaja forest last month.
Mr. Soiza said that he had visited Singharaja forest the previous month.
Mr. Fernando said, I have been to Yala National Park.
Mr. Fernando said that he had been to Yala National Park.
Okay, hope that our students have understood on how to convert direct speech into indirect speech. There are some more things to done. Imperatives. What are imperatives? When you want to say somebody to do something or not to do something, you use an imperative. When you are at school, your teacher gives you various instructions. Stand up, take out your book, don't go to the playground. So, these are imperatives. They include commands, instructions, rules, duties, requests, guidelines or advice. Look at this imperative. She told me stand up. It is in direct speech. When you convert an imperative into indirect speech, she told me to stand up. Look at this. It's very simple. You have to use the reporting verb. What is the reporting verb? We call this one the reporting clause. She told me is the reporting clause. So, reporting verb should be used in the sentence. She told. Then you have to use the noun or the pronoun. Reporting verb should be followed by the noun or the pronoun. She told me. Then you have to use the word to. After that, infinitive. She told me to stand up. It's quite simple. If you are using a positive imperative, you have to use to. If you are using a negative imperative, you have to use not to. Look at these two examples. She told me stand up. This is a positive imperative. She told me stand up. She told me stand up. It's a positive imperative. In this positive imperative, you have to use to. Remember the reporting verb, and after that the noun or the pronoun, then you have to use to, after that infinitive. Look at this one. She told me to stand up. And the next one is going to be a negative imperative. What is a negative imperative? Don't go out. Don't shout in the class. These are called negative imperatives. The teacher told the student, don't shout. In the previous example, you can note that told is the verb, then me is the pronoun, to stand is the infinitive. The teacher told the students, don't shout. Here we are using a negative imperative. Since the fact that we are using a negative imperative, children, you have to use not to. So, the teacher told the students not to shout. Look at this. The teacher, then the verb of the reporting clause, then the noun or the pronoun, the students, then not to. After that, the infinitive. The teacher told the students not to shout, right? Okay. So, that is about imperatives. Then we have two kinds of questions. We are going to convert two kinds of questions into reported speech. Number one, yes no questions, and we call them binary choice questions also. Yes no questions. Now, after that we are going to discuss how we can convert WH questions into indirect speech also. Here we are going to discuss how you can convert yes no questions into indirect speech. Look at this sentence. Look at this question. Will you come tomorrow? The teacher asked the student, will you come tomorrow? Will you come tomorrow is a question. Why do we call it a yes no question? Look at the answer. Will you come tomorrow? If I ask Nirmala, will you come tomorrow?
No, I won't.
Okay. So, the answer will be either yes or no. If the answer for the question is either yes or no, we call such questions as yes no questions. Now, this is a yes no question, right? How do you convert this yes no question into indirect speech. When you have yes no question, you have to use if or whether in order to combine these two sentences together. Children, in the earlier examples we used that to combine two sentences. But remember, here in this one, in yes no questions, we can use either if or whether to combine these two. Will you is changed into either she or he, and tomorrow should be converted into
The next day.
the next day. That's one important thing for you to remember. Even though will you come tomorrow remains as a question, when you convert it into indirect speech, you have to change the question form. You have to change the question form in the sense it should be converted into a form of a sentence. It should be written in the form of a sentence. Look at this example. Yes?
The teacher asked the student whether he would come the next day.
Okay. The teacher asked the student whether he would come the next day. Instead of will you come tomorrow, the question form, we have used whether he would come the next day. So, that is how you can convert a WH question into indirect speech. The next example, mother asked me, are you hungry? Mother asked me, are you hungry? Right? This is a yes no question. So, you have to use either if or whether in order to combine these two. You should be converted into I, and then are you hungry? The question form should be converted into a form of a sentence.
My mother asked me whether I was hungry.
Okay, fine. A small activity. So, you can see whether you can do this activity. My mother asked me, did you do your homework? What is the answer?
My mother asked me whether I had done my homework.
Okay, the changes in the tenses
Remains the same.
Remains the same. You have to follow the rules that we have already told you, right? The second one, the mother asked the policeman, do you suspect my son?
The mother asked the policeman whether he suspected her son.
Okay. The PHI asked me, were you wearing a mask?
The PHI asked me whether I had been wearing a mask.
Okay. Two more. My teacher asked me, have you answered the questions?
My teacher asked me whether I had answered the questions.
The coach asked the captain, did the players come on time?
The coach asked the captain whether the players had come on time.
Okay, children, I hope that you have understood it. We have to pay attention to WH questions. What are WH questions? WH questions means the questions which start with WH words. When, where, who, those are WH words. If the question starts from a WH word, we call it a WH question. Look at this one. Sonali asked herself, where am I? When Sonali Dharaniyagala was caught in the tsunami wave, when she was caught herself in between the jeep and the land, she asked herself, she was inside water, she asked herself, where am I? So, when you convert this one into reported speech, always remember the question word. The question word becomes the linking word of these two sentences, right. So, the word where should be used in order to combine these two together, right, and then am, I, they should be changed. And remember children, where am I is a question. It should be changed into a form of a sentence, and this is how it is made.
Sonali asked herself where she was.
Okay, Sonali asked herself where she was. Remember, the word where is used here in order to combine these two. Am should be changed into was, I should be changed into she. The question form is converted into a form of a sentence. Shall we have a look at another example or do an activity? What is better?
We'll do some more activities.
Okay, right. But soldier asked Sangakkara. But we have to pay attention to one more example. The soldier asked Sangakkara, how are you feeling after the attack? After facing the Lahore attack, when Sangakkara came back to Sri Lanka, when he met a soldier at a checkpoint, the soldier inquired him, how are you after the attack? So, in this sentence, the word how remains as the linking word.
Remember children, this belongs to WH questions, how as well, although it does not start with WH.
Right? Okay. How are you feeling after the attack? Thank you Nirmala for the explanation. And then are you, it is in question form, they should be changed. How are you going to change it? Right? The word you should be changed into he and are should be changed into was.
The soldier asked Sangakkara how he was feeling after the attack.
Okay, fine. Children, at the beginning of the lesson, I told you that we are going to discuss the examples in which the reporting clause remains in past tense. But now, I am going to show you some examples in which the reporting clause remains in present tense. If the reporting clause remains in present tense, how are we going to change the direct speech into indirect speech? Look at this. If the reporting clause is in the present tense, he says, I am tired. The tense remains unchanged. The tense of the direct speech into indirect speech should not be changed. He says, I am tired. When you have a look at this one, he says, it is in present tense. As usual, we have to use the word that in order to combine these two together. But remember, I should be changed into he, am should be changed into is, but remember the tense is not changed. The other things are changed, but not the tense. So, that is the unique feature that you can observe when you convert a sentence, when you convert a direct speech sentence into indirect speech in which the reporting clause remains in the present tense. This is a very important activity because this was asked in one of the O-level papers. So, you can take past papers and see whether this activity is there, right. So, now today we have discussed some important rules in our lesson. All these things, all these rules are involved in reported speech. If you revise this lesson around 3-4 times, you will be able to get a very clear cut idea on reported speech. Nirmala?
Yes, thank you Damika sir. You have explained very well a very complex lesson in a very simpler manner. So, my dear children, why don't you do these activities in workbook and the textbooks with your teachers and get them corrected. And if you want to revise further, you can watch Channel NIE, the YouTube Channel NIE. So, until we meet again, have a pleasant day. Goodbye children.